So any final thoughts from our panelists? Steve Weinberger, welcome. You
Thank
passed the
you.
Blue Blazer test. Any final thoughts as we start to head to the finish line here?
This topic, there is no one size fits all, right? Private equity, when you're buying a company, who to hire, how to hire, it depends on sort of specific requirements, what's on the to-do list. Integration, there is no easy way. It's hard and it's ugly and it's painful and it's very expensive. Look, I still wake up screaming in the middle of the night from bad integrations I did 25 years ago because we tried to take shortcuts. And again, so there's no easy way to do it. Go in there with eyes wide open up front and make sure when you're modeling an acquisition that you put these costs in the model.
Got it. Russ, how about you? Any final thoughts?
I think the two things that we had to we kind of nailed down, I think, was cybersecurity. I think between me, Steve, and Jim and a few others, kind of hit that over the head. That's critically important. Do it early, do it often. Make sure you're looking at your acquiring target, carefully along those lines. And we said earlier about data is the new gold. To me, that's a critical element to this, is understanding how do we kind of take the data elements from both of the organizations, bring them together to make sure when we go out to market as a combined entity that we rarely have now an opportunity for even greater success than each individual company had on their own. I think that's a critical element. And I think as you bring others into this space, making sure there's transparency to that process is also critical.
Great, thank you. Thanks a million. Yeah, that's great. Steve Milor, any final thoughts?
Similar to our last session, it's really start early. If you're thinking about selling your company, it's time to start talking to professionals, get an idea of what you should be doing, some seller side diligence, basically start diligencing your company like a buyer would and say, here's an issue, let's clean that up. So when you are ready to go to market, you're in good shape. You cannot be too early on it. And also for the estate planning aspects, there may be some smart movements you can make before you sell the company in terms of deferring or minimizing taxes.
Thank you very much, Steve. John, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I would echo what everyone said already, and also just getting the right advisors, starting early, and then having goals. Setting goals, and I should say set realistic goals. Work across the organization to get everyone on the same page and set those goals, and then really set those clear lines of communication up. And make it an iterative process, because there's going to be bumps in the road, in any integration. But what I think is key is catching those small issues while they're small, and keeping things on track and not letting small issues fester and become big problems that are difficult to solve down the road.
Great advice. Sean, how about you? Final thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, collaboration is a big deal. And at the heart of that, it really comes down to understanding the culture. So it's not just the private equity firm understanding the real culture of the family business being bought. It goes both ways. I encourage family business owners, if they're thinking about selling to a private equity firm, to request that they speak to the senior management of other portfolio companies of that PE firm. Because if there's a disconnect in any way that's somewhat major in terms of understanding the culture on either side, you're going to have a really hard time with the collaboration.
Got it. That's great. Well, you guys have just laid out a really solid playbook for the integration, for the collaboration. I would simply add to it that, again, technology matters. Russ knows this. Not to minimize it, not to look at it as an expense, but look at it as a vital part of your business, whether you're preparing to sell or you're the buyer. Making sure that the technology is going to be in place and keeping the right people, the historians of the technology, some that may have built it, the legacy folks with retention bonuses were great. So really terrific session. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.